Control Board meeting, if I can get a roll call.
Board Member Bennett. Board Member Brogy. Board Member Foy. Board Member Morgan.
Here.
Board Member Parks.
Here.
Board Member Pollock.
Here.
Board Member Ramirez.
Here.
Board Member Sharkey. Board Member Zaragoza. Chair Long.
Here. Thank you. Mrs. Ramirez, if you guide us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge. Put your hand over your heart. Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. So has everyone had a chance for the meeting, the minutes for the Air Pollution Control Board held Tuesday, July 23rd of 2018? Is there any motion or any changes?
I'll move approval of the minutes as posted.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Pollock, and seconded by Commissioner Ramirez. Any discussion?
I'll abstain.
You will abstain. Sharkey will abstain. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
And any noes? One abstention. Motion has been approved. Next item is agenda review. Is there any changes to the agenda? All right. Public comment? Or, sorry, yeah. Okay, board comments. Any board comments? Yes, Commissioner Ramirez.
Very briefly, I think everybody's aware of the latest news about its greenhouse gas, air pollution is part of that. That's come out from the IGPC, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which is very sobering, and I'm hoping we all pay attention to that. Not all of us can get a Tesla, but if you can, please do. I just at least an electric vehicle. Every little bit helps. So it's a very serious issue for the future of our children. I'll leave it there. Thank you.
You know,
Thank you.
also learning on that, the amount of greenhouse gas emissions that are generated from vehicle emissions is significantly higher than those in stationary sources in terms of buildings and employment sites and all. It's something I'm thinking 80-20, or it's substantial, and so being able to deal with the tailpipe emissions is really key. And it's wonderful that we are able to also work with shipping emissions too.
Mm-hmm.
And I got my new Tesla in July, so I've jumped on it, and it's the best car I've ever owned. I hope others of you will consider it.
I was just going to ask a question because I'm looking at that. You like your Tesla?
I love it. Best car I've ever driven.
Okay.
Commissioner Sharkey?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Report to the board that I've been in some discussion, our city has been in some discussion with the Air Pollution Control Officer regarding a situation in the southeast corner of our city involving a continuous intermittent odor problem. Either it could be the wastewater treatment plant, it could be there's new owners at the paper plant down there. We've been trying to track down what this is, and I don't know if Mr. Villegas has any more updates on this. My neighbors are pretty unhappy, and they've let me know it.
Actually, this afternoon, I'm going to be meeting with a representative of the community down there, Tom Dunn. And right now, our inspectors are responding, and we're starting to look into, what could be possible solutions to both those types of situations.
Yeah, I know, Mr. Dunn, we should talk before you do that.
Okay. One thing I just noticed on the agenda review, I asked if everybody was okay, but I believe we need to vote on that as well.
Move to approve.
Thank you. Motion approved. Second. It's been motion and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Okay, motion's been approved. All right, moving quickly onto the agenda, we have our number 8, the public hearing regarding adoption of proposed amendment rule 74.20, adhesives and sealants.
Chair Long, members of the board, good afternoon. Mike Villegas, Air Pollution Control Officer. We're proposing this amended rule to comply with the requirements of implementing all feasible measures pursuant to the California Clean Air Act. This rule amendment would achieve 15 tons per year in reactive organic compound emission reductions, which isn't huge, but still significant. And right now, with the looming deadline for the old federal 75 part per billion ozone standard, we need just about every reduction we can achieve, especially with the very hot first 2/3 of the summer we experienced this year. Staffs worked closely with the regulated community to craft amendments that are workable and realistic to implement, and we believe we've addressed all of the concerns of the regulated community. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Stan Cowan, the engineer responsible for these amendments.
All right, and I will open the public hearing.
Thanks, Mike. Chair Long, members of the board, Stan Cowan, our quality engineer. As Mike said, this rule amendment amends our adhesive and sealant rule. As he said, it's a feasible measure which is required for non-attainment areas under the California Clean Air Act. The reason that it is feasible is based on its successful implementation in a neighboring South Coast Air Quality Management District. And their rule, they have a similar rule, 1168, which is the basis for our proposal. Products complying with the proposed standards are currently available in the county to be purchased. Samples, there are tables in the staff report that show availability of complying adhesive and sealants. As Mike said, we work closely with the industry associations. We had a workshop last June, which was pretty well attended. They did have some comments. We were able to make some changes and proposals that made them feel better about the proposal. In fact, they were considering using our rule as a model statewide and maybe nationwide as well. Proposal includes 6 new product categories, 8 existing categories where the limits are changed, but it does not include some future limits in the South Coast rule that require a technology assessment report before those standards become effective. So those are what we call technology forcing standards. And our rule does not propose those standards at this time. What will happen is we'll go back once those reports are published, and we'll look at those results, and then at that time update our rule to conform with those standards. We haven't changed these categories since about 2003, so it's been about 15 years. As Mike said, it will reduce about 15 tons per year. It's not large, but it's still significant, and mainly from residential and commercial construction or remodeling operations. There are some small manufacturing operations in the county that have permits that are subject to this rule, but they will not be affected by the proposal. The South Coast did a cost analysis for the reformulation cost to change the products to low polluting products, and their reformulation cost was about 40 cents to $3.70 per pound, which is pretty reasonable. But they don't do any more reformulation for Ventura County, so the additional cost is negligible. So that's the good news. We're trying to take advantage of neighboring districts' policies that impact our county. As I said, we had a workshop on June 7th. We did get comments from the polyurethane industry. They wanted some a category for aerosol spray sealants, foam sealants, I guess, and we did that without adopting the future standard, which is in the South Coast rule, because it's also, I said, it has a technology assessment, so it is technology forcing. The advisory committee recommended the rule on August 28th, and the vote was unanimous. EPA did review the rule, had some minor changes, but no significant effects on the requirements. Should your board adopt this proposal, please adopt the findings from the Health and Safety Code and the CEQA exempt status as well, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions? I have no public speaker comment cards, So therefore, I can close the public hearing. Is there any other further discussion? Would anyone entertain a motion to recommended actions? Great.
We'll see if it sticks.
All right, so first and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Okay, motion has been approved. Thank you. Next item, number 9.
This item is proposed funding for electric vehicle charging infrastructure for Oak Park School District. We will be coming back to the board in December to talk about our EV charging station infrastructure grant program and give a program update and kind of give some history of what the funding has done. So that'll be coming up in December because there's no November meeting. Back in 2011, your board voted to have the district participate in the California Alternative Renewable Fuel and Vehicle Technology Program, which is administered by the California Energy Commission. What this program does, one of the programs is electric vehicle infrastructure support. So Ventura County, as one of the lead agencies in doing EV infrastructure projects, we use DMV fees that may be used for this purpose because they do reduce motor vehicle emissions. This proposal will assist Oak Park School District with an additional publicly accessible dual level 2 EV charging station, which can charge 2 vehicles independently. The grant amount is $9,008, which covers only equipment costs. And the grantees agreed to take responsibility for the installation, maintenance, and operation of the equipment. Oak Park School District has made many substantive commitments to advancing electric vehicles and sustainability, including installation of solar power at many of their school districts. As I said, these charging stations will be publicly accessible. If approved by your board, please authorize the APCO to sign the grant agreement with Oak Park School District. And I'm happy to answer any questions about this.
Not question, but I look forward to the workshop. Thank you for the recommendation. I would like to go ahead and move its approval. Just Oak Park Unified School District really has set the bar pretty high in terms of environmental schools. They have a shipping container that they've converted into classrooms. They have biofilters. They have they actually recycle their waste, including their food waste. And they have no herbicides that they use or pesticides. So they really are setting the bar high for all of us, and I'm delighted to see that we can give them some assistance with their environmental programs.
Mr. Maris?
Thank you very much. That does seem very admirable, all of those things. I have a question, if you know.
Sure.
The charging would be for the staff, correct?
It's public accessible. It will be used by staff. Visitors can use it as well. So it's, as long as it's available and it's not being used by someone else.
Is there a charge for that?
Visitors are charged for
Okay.
their, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I also want to just bring to everybody's attention the Community Environmental Council of Santa Barbara has a grant to work with Ventura County Regional Energy Alliance and different cities of the county to look at infrastructure needs for electric vehicles. So we should stay tuned, and maybe you're already
That's the next
involved.
item on the agenda.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm ahead of you. Thank you.
Commissioner Zaragoza?
I just, I approve of this item, but the question I had was, I was at a car show over at the harbor, I think it was, when was it, a couple of months ago? And one of the things they were asking is, I'm not sure if there's any more grant money for electrical charges there by the Maritime Museum and also the boating center. Because there's quite a few people that come from different places that there's no places really there to charge their automobiles. And I know Shark was there long, you were there, and also Mayor Pro Tem Ramirez was there, and I'm sure they had all kinds of electrical cars and so forth. Is there any more monies for that? Maybe that.
Well, yeah, we have a steady funding for that kind of project.
But we might want to look over at the harbor, by the
And
museum.
yeah, we just need the site owner to submit a proposal.
Probably working together with Mark Sandoval, our new harbor director, might be a way to do it.
Harbor director.
Commissioner Morgan?
I have a question regarding the containers for schoolrooms. They put three or four of them together, containers to make room.
You know, I don't exactly know, but it looks great. It's got lots of windows in it, and it is.
No, I think it's a great idea. Don't trust me.
No, I understand. And some think of them as being very narrow, which is probably your question.
Yes.
But this is roomy, and it's got a lot of light in it.
So maybe they put two together and made it
I'll
all.
let you know at the next meeting.
Okay.
All right, so I have a first. Can I get oh, you have one more comment? Yes, please.
Yeah, Jeff, following up on Member Zaragoza's comment, I know in Port Hueneme, we got, the Port District is looking at a charging station. That's, considered an employment center. But the discussion we've had over the last several years, and I think Mr. Zaragoza points it out exactly, we have other recreational sites, parking lots. Maybe Hueneme Beach isn't the most active beach for parking, but there are some days when it's very busy. As we look at the criteria for citing these places, I know we look at employment centers, but also how about these intermittently used recreation areas, the harbor parking lot, we've got Ventura Harbor, Channel Islands Harbor, the beach parking lots, how about stuff like that? How does that fit into the plan?
Oh, yeah, no, those are good. Those are excellent choices for sites. The issue mainly is getting the site owner to submit a proposal.
That's right.
To do the installation, because then they have to take care of the maintenance and operation. We'll help them get it installed.
Right.
But we need someone who's willing to have the staff or whatever to.
Well, do you have staff assistance that, because we're pretty short-staffed as far as, that's one of the problems we have as far as going after grants in our city.
We just need a quote from the vendor for the installation, and for either the installation is done by an electrician. The vendor quote, he can probably do both of those.
Well, maybe if I can make a suggestion, because we're looking at that at Santa Paula in the shopping area, like a parking lot, or Fillmore in this parking lot. Same with Port Hueneme, they have a smaller staff. Is there something where they can go to a workshop and actually get helped? Instead of waiting for people to come with applications, if we know that there's key places that we would think they would be good, how do we partner with them? So that's what I'd ask if we're more looking out for where we want to go.
So my understanding is that, for example, Mark Sandoval from the harbor would have to submit
Proposal, yeah, just a very short application.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll let him know then.
okay.
So it has been first. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, it's been first and second by Commissioner Ramirez. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Motion has been approved. Going on to item number 10.
Okay, this is a proposed participation in a grant program with Ventura County Regional Energy Alliance. Also, out of the same state program, the Alternative Renewable Fuel Vehicle Technology Program, run by the California Energy Commission. The goal is to deploy advanced technologies to help meet the state's goals for reducing greenhouse gas emissions. This particular solicitation was issued last December of 2017, accelerates the deployment of electric vehicles in local communities, and we did partner the Ventura County Regional Energy Alliance as the lead applicant, and we partnered with them along with the cities of Ventura and Oxnard and the Port of Hueneme and the Environmental Council and EV Alliance. They were awarded the grant in June 1st of this year. They received $196,466 to VCREA and its subcontractors. But there is required matching funds of $76,491. As part of our support of their application, we did submit a letter of support, and we committed to assisting them with some of the work involved with identification, planning, and development of shovel-ready projects, especially in economically disadvantaged areas. As part of that support letter, we did pledge $6,550 in in-kind donation of staff time as match support for this grant. And if approved by your board, please authorize the APCO to sign the grant letter with the VCREA. I'm happy to answer any questions about this.
Any discussion? Any questions?
Only this.
Maris.
I'm on the Regional, I'm chair of this point of that. There's no problem with me voting for this council.
Maybe
wanna
she
just
needs to
clarify.
accuse herself.
I'm sorry, what's the organization or?
Ventura County Regional Energy Alliance, the one that's co-applicant?
Yeah.
She's on the board for whom will receive.
And that's
interest in
is
kind.
that a nonprofit?
It's a joint powers?
Joint powers.
Yeah, there's more than one of us on that board, actually.
Okay, yeah, you're fine. If it's governmental, then you can
Okay.
participate.
All right, thank you.
For asking.
Just want to make sure.
All right, so can I get a motion?
So moved.
By Commissioner Ramirez, second by Commissioner Sharkey. Any further discussions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any noes? Motion has been approved. Okay, item 11.
As your board is aware, the district's been receiving substantial amounts of additional incentive funding from the state recently. Along with these new incentive funds, we received over $200,000 in administrative monies to implement these new programs. While we anticipate a significant increase in the number of projects we're going to be funding, such as agricultural tractors, agricultural pumps, potentially some fishing vessels, heavy-duty trucks, there's a definite increase in the number of field inspections we need to conduct and reports we need to acquire from the grantees, along with occasional audits of projects. To handle this new workload, we're proposing to add a 2-year fixed-term air quality specialist one to take on this additional work. Currently, the funding stream, which is the greenhouse gas allocation auction credits at the state level, seems to be very stable, and these monies seem to be earmarked strictly for these type of programs. But I'm not yet confident we should be adding a full-time permanent position at this time until we work through this for the next couple of years. Your board standing committee reviewed this proposal as part of the proposed budget for fiscal year 2018-19 and recommended approval. That's all I have.
All right, any questions?
Move for approval?
Thank you. It's been moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Motion has been approved. Thank you for looking at that and making sure we're fitting the needs of everybody. Now on to 12.
Yeah, this is just a very minor update to our conflict of interest code. And really what's happened as we flatten the organization to reduce costs, we now have our incentive programs being implemented by an air quality engineer too. Whereas in the past it was a supervising engineer, and our agricultural burn forecasts are now done by a meteorologist versus the monitoring manager in the past. And basically we're just making sure that these reporting classifications are correct for the type of decision these people are now making.
Any questions? Thank you. Got a second?
I appreciate you cleaning up this kind of stuff.
All right. Can I take that as a second? All right. Any further discussions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Motion has been carried. Next item, number 13.
Yes, real quick, we're applying. Good news is that the House and Senate have recommended that the districts, the state and local air grants stay the same as they were last year, no cuts, which the administration had proposed. And we'll just have to wait and see what happens after December 7th, I think, at this point.
Okay, I need a motion to approve,
So moved.
receive and file. Thank you.
Second.
First and second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Motion is approved. Thank you for getting that reported. Now, item number 14.
Well, once again, this is federal funding, and we'll have to wait and see how things look after.
Okay, any questions on this one? Thank you.
Second.
First and second, any further questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Motion is approved. On to 15.
Just real quick, state's subvention looks to be level, and for many years, the districts were grumbling that we never received an increase, and lo and behold, now we're receiving these grants for the additional state mandates, and it's really a welcome change.
Definitely agree on that. Any questions?
Yeah, one quick question. So this is $200,000. What is our total subvention now?
Well, the subvention is 200,000, but we also received, I believe, 23,000 for additional inventory work, 20,000 for additional work on the greenhouse gas oil production regulation, $142,000 for AB 617. I've been told we're going to see a bump up of 65,000 to help us with monitoring on that effort. And then that was for last fiscal year. So we're actually expecting a bigger bump up on 617 during this fiscal year. So
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful.
And with that, I'll move approval.
Thank you. Can I get a second? It's been first and second. Any further questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Motion's been approved. Number 16.
I'll touch on the correspondence real quick. The first letter, good news.
Oh, wait. 16 is approval of the cancellation of the November 13th letter meeting. I get a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any noes?
Question.
Yes,
When is the meeting in December?
December 11th.
December 11th.
Okay. I may or may not be here. We'll see.
Oh, yes. There might be some new
It
changes.
depends on how long it takes to certify the election results.
All right. So we'll be looking at that. All right. So we had that was a motion to approve. Okay. Do you have a question?
No, I want to say something before we adjourn, though.
Okay, let's finish the correspondence agenda and then we'll go for that one.
Just real quick, good news on the approval of the new source review certification. That's shut off the sanction clock that was running on several air districts in California. And then the real good news is the Port of Hueneme was selected to receive funds from the California Air Resources Board. It's going to be 2 zero-emission yard tractors, but the bigger aspect of the project is additional conduits and other infrastructure under the South Wharf, which is where all the produce comes in and out, and that could lead to electrification of those diesel cranes. So,
Thank you. And those are for the correspondence agendas 17 through 19 as well. Go ahead.
Yeah, Madam Chair, just on that last item, as someone who lives directly downwind from the port, I can say I've noticed a definite improvement in the air quality. We no longer get the fine diesel dust coating all the furniture on windy days, it's working. They're doing a good job there. I hate to admit that the Harbor District does a good job at anything, but they are doing a good job.
Oh, hey. Supervisor Bennett, do you have something to say? Or Parks?
It's just board comments.
Well, we need to vote on this first. Okay. So can I get a motion to approve the correspondence? And a second, any questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any noes? Okay, motion has been approved. Board, final ending? Yes.
We all received a note from our director, Mike Villegas, that he's planning to leave us.
Thank you for bringing
And
this up.
I want to thank him for his service. I'm sure we all do. And you have to let us know when the party is. And thank you for doing a great job for our lungs. Thank you.
I ride with him up to our Central Coast all the time to our meetings up there. And Mike and I get to discuss a whole lot of good things about what's happening there and here. And I told you couldn't go until I leave.
And we should put on our agenda
Yeah.
to agendize our process for the replacement.
Yes, we will have that as well. Supervisor Parks?
I just plug the Clean Power Alliance, which I believe all of our cities, not Port Hueneme, are a part of. The different cities and counties, LA and Ventura, are setting their default levels, which will apply to residents in February. Commercial take place in May. The last CPA meeting, Clean Power Alliance meeting, it was mentioned by the council member from Culver City who has gone 100% default, that they have reached their 2045 goals of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by next year because of their 100% default.
Thank you. And you will see in the agenda for the December meeting that there'll be discussion on the process for the new hire for Mike Villegas' position. We'll be talking about that as well. All right, any other comment, motion? We are adjourned.
I just want
Thank
to
you.
leave you
Oh.
one little note on the port.
Yes.
I was at the gym about a month ago, and this fellow asked me what I do for a living, and I told him, and he said, I work at the port. And we started talking about shore power, and he just started raving. He was actually the operator of one of the cranes, so he said, my little control booth is even with the ship stack, so you do have no idea how much you helped me.
That's wonderful to hear. Thank you very much.